with Miami's Community News, and our very special guest is Carlos Ribero from Next Media. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks. I like that very special thing.
Very special.
Thanks.
Speaking of very special, we have this new hat that said, "It's a Miller thing you wouldn't understand."
So you're sponsoring the show today?
Yeah, we're sponsoring the show. And that last line in there, I like it. You wouldn't understand. So Grant and I are trying to understand it, but we don't. But we just go with the flow.
So not even you understand it?
No, that's correct.
Okay.
So, and speaking of understanding, this is the holiday season, and people that are in business that are trying to sell stuff during the holidays, right? They have to do something, and perhaps something different than they did last year. You've been in the field for a long, long time. So what are some simple things that people can do to help drive prospects and customers to their products?
The first thing is every year it starts earlier and earlier. I remember I think probably if I went into Home Depot right now, I'll bet the Christmas stuff is already up. So absolutely, you have to start early, right? You have to offer something that is different. You know, it's always a discount. It's always kind of the same kind of promotion. And it's going to be different for every product. So you have to think of something unique. You don't want to be like everybody else. Also, and this is emerging, it's still, I'll call it somewhat the Wild West, is leverage AI. Leverage AI in being found, because now companies are being found on AI searches both inside of large language models like ChatGPT and in AI summaries when they Google something. So it's important to leverage that immediately.
And one of the things I've also seen years ago would be Memorial Day weekend sale. And then sometimes it would be, and it's been extended. Then all of a sudden, it's a Memorial Day month where they're trying to capture you and capture the essence of the holiday. And you're right, they start way ahead of time, all right? And they're going to go way after. So here, an average guy that's on Sunset Drive or Kendall Drive, and he has a store there, they're all fighting for similar customers. So in the social media arena, what are some minimum things they need to do?
Minimally is you got to be on social media. You got to get seen. And I think people underestimate organic social media. And what I mean by organic social media is media that you don't pay for. So be on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok if it applies, and other media, so that at least there's awareness of your business. Then the key is, one of the biggest mistakes or misconceptions is you have to have a lot of followers to do business on Instagram or Facebook, et cetera. No, you just have to have the right audience, and you have to post content and have offers that are attractive to them.
And so often people hear the word about engagement. Why don't you describe as best you can how a store owner could get his audience, whether it's 1 or 100 people, a little bit more engaged?
I could talk a whole day about this, but I'll summarize it with a couple of things. One is you either got to entertain, inspire, right? So those two are key, right? Entertain, inspire, or educate. If you can do all three with your content, with one piece of content, that's a home run. So that's the general rule.
There's a guy. He happened to come into our studio one day, and he had his Instagram is called Refreshed. He's a nurse anesthetist, and he does a plastic, Botox and what do you call it, and lifts and stuff.
Yeah.
He's an entertainer. This guy is crazy wild. He's talking to the camera all the time. He brings these people. He teaches people how to be injectors. That's what they're called now.
Okay.
Right? And he does these classes there, and he gives promotions to people, and he gets people that are there and telling great stories while they're doing it. And I watch that. They do the befores and after, and education. This is why we do it this way. This is why we do it this way. This is how we straighten out people's faces. And so, and not just educating, but he is entertaining, which is really significant.
Yeah, you just said something significant as well, and this is the other piece of it, is telling stories. People relate to stories. So if you can tell a story while you're educating, for example, like this gentleman is, then again, you're way ahead of the game. Not easy to do.
On X Factor and those guys, those other shows like that, they tell the contestants, "What's your story?" And then the ones that's got the saddest story in the world, all right, they get the most applause, right? And we watch that, and they know that because people want to get into it because we do want to know somebody's story, and whether it's a teacher or somebody that you just met. At some point, everybody has their own thing, and obviously we like to tell stories, and the more we can help somebody tell their story, the more impact that it has. So they need to be entertaining, educating, and what was the other?
Inspire.
So when, at the end of this, when they show the plastic guy, when they show the before, during, and after, and you look at it and you go, how good is that?
Yeah.
And they keep you there for long enough. Wait. And I watch that stuff. And before I know it, I'm on there for 2 or 3 minutes watching this tremendous thing. And by the way, they were teaching their little daughter, she was here, to be an actress. I mean, she's all dressed up. She's got a microphone. She's this big.
Yeah.
I don't know how old that is, 5 or 6 or 7 years old. And so that was a real entertaining part. And they had her stand in front of her, step and repeat.
So she probably has a chance to be a star in the future or in the immediate future, because what's happened now is there's a lot of content produced by kids for kids, and since distribution is completely decentralized at this point, I mean, anybody can have a YouTube channel, anybody can go live on Facebook, etc. You have way more creators now.
So YouTube is like the new TV. My grandkids come to the house. It's on YouTube. They can switch just as fast.
I can relate.
And you can see, I guess, sometimes I look up, there's like 20 things they can pick from. They switch around. So everything, and it does go through, it's an evolution. So part of what we try to do in life is, okay, as Wayne Gretzky says, don't go where the puck is, go where it's going. So where is this all going in the next 5 years?
It's really hard to tell because everything is evolving so quickly that, I would have to have a crystal ball to tell you what's going to happen 5 years from now. I think that one of the things that's going to happen is that AI is going to do a lot of the heavy lifting. I mean, already you see 30-second, 1-minute commercials produced 100% with AI. So I think things are moving in that direction. I think content will continue to be decentralized. Who knows if there's going to be a brand new platform out there, but AI is to me what the internet was when it first started. That's how revolutionary it is.
So we're having some team meetings, so I put together some questions, and I said I would appreciate it if you'd have some input, get a typical group of people here. You know what they did?
What?
They went to AI and told me. I go, okay. I said, you asked it the question, you look at it, right? And if that suits your fancy, right, fine. So you had some help with it. Because that's the way I look at it. Somebody's there to help me. We don't have to pay her very much, all right? Doesn't talk back much, all right? And if somebody wants, I don't know people that don't use AI, but I'm sure that there's a huge part of the population that doesn't. But those are the organized ones. But the reality is, on our phones, and Google is AI. When it finishes a sentence for you, is that they're anticipating what you're going to do.
Right.
When we go into some of the programs, I don't even have to tell it to rewrite something.
Oh, yeah.
You just put it in, and it figured it out.
So have you created your own GPTs yet?
No. Another thing to do.
Another thing to do, but what that allows you to do is really, it helps you customize content. So I have a GPT. If I produce content for a client, I have a GPT that you have to feed it instructions. And what it does is, for example, it can speak in your client's voice. So that's one of the advantages of creating your own GPTs.
When you say voice, you mean when it's typed or audio?
No, not audio. That's a whole other ballgame.
So one of the things that I ask it to do, I used to say put it in Michael Miller style, right? Now it just said it asks me up front,
right?
And it's like, and to your point, which mine's much friendlier. A friend asked me for a letter of reference, so I did Michael Miller style, friendlier, a little humorous, and then a regular one. So I gave them both. Which one suits you?
So if you did your own GPT and you feed it instructions, you feed it documents, etc., and if you do that, then you go to that GPT and you just say, write a letter of recommendation. and it will just spit it out in your voice. So it makes life a lot easier in the long run.
2 years ago, we sat with a group of people. They were all against it. When I was in college, Michael, I said, this is different. I said, just practice. I said, you all are really using it now, all right?
Yeah.
When you send your Gmail, it'll try to figure it out, or they're going to fix it. I said, so we are all involved in it. And now it's commonplace. And what we found here is most people can't really write letters.
Mm-hmm.
This writes a nice letter for you. And so they're a little bit more assertive in correspondence and in letters for proposals. And so they're a little bit freer at it. And so in the classes you can get everywhere. You go to Miami-Dade. I took some classes at FIU. That was floating around right about here, right? I went, okay, all right. And I've struggled to stay up because it was very fast-paced, and it was really based upon the typing and everything. But here's a couple of things I learned. Number one, learn how to prompt better. 2, ask questions that are a little clearer. Figure out in your own voice. And then I always ask, what would the top 1% of people say about this? Mm-hmm. And also what I learned is it'll say, this is the good stuff, the not so good stuff, and this is what they say to do. So here's what I learned. If I have a basic thing that I like, I make a copy of that. I send it to myself. Because by the time I go down that rabbit hole and it puts the 20 things in, all right, the letter's lost. But and I said, what do I need in this? You need to have testimony, a letter. Put a quote in from you and your brother. Get a customer to write a testimony. Use an image. All the stuff that we know in our brains.
Right.
But we weren't able to put it. And that's the reminder system. So again, so people can take classes in a variety of places. And if they're not doing it, they will be.
Yeah. I think that, that when you, or we, me included, are using large language models like ChatGPT. I use a bunch of them. That is using AI at its most rudimentary level.
Yes.
So now what I'm into is developing AI bots that either can text back and forth or can actually speak. So the big thing now is AI agents. AI agents can even make outbound sales calls for you. So that's kind of the latest realm of this.
There's still hope for us over the age of 50. And so what do you do when you look at all this information that's coming at you, and to be able to sort through it and say, I may not be able to do all this right now, but how do you figure out what stuff you really need to attend to?
You have to figure out, what are the needs of each particular business? Where do you see opportunity to implement some of these things in different businesses, whether your clients, your clients, current clients, or prospective clients? And that's the direction you go in. I have a small company, and I am not going to do this myself. I'm not going to do the heavy lifting myself. I could do it eventually, but that doesn't make sense. The learning curve is significant. So what I would advise is find expertise. So I have vendors. Some of my in-house people can do some of this stuff as well, but get help. You shouldn't be expected to build out an AI bot.
Some people at the beginning thought that AI, and specifically was chat, they were like cheating. No, not cheating. That's say using a calculator or a pen. Why would you go and do this when you have this right over here? Isn't that amazing to a number like that?
Yeah.
We have a payphone in the office. The grandkids come over,
of course,
and they go, "Grandpa, you have to put money in it, and it has a cord on it. How do you text from this thing?" Well, that's the way it used to be.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be a lot of big changes and improvements to our lives. And of course, some jobs are going to be lost, but there can be plenty that are going to be created.
Absolutely. I'm a big believer in that AI is going to create a lot of jobs and a lot of high-paying jobs. I mean, when this first started, and I haven't really followed it, but I know just prompt engineers were, there were jobs offered out there for $250,000, $300K a year. Now, you do have to be careful with AI. You do need to watch how you use it, because it's not the end-all, be-all. ChatGPT does make mistakes. It's not your lawyer. It's not your doctor. So be careful.
In the news industry, you have a researcher You have the writer,
Right.
and you have the editor. And the editor ultimately is us.
Right.
When we look at it, is that case, or if you're illegal, is that case real? Some lawyer was given 4 chances to fix the stuff. He cited cases that didn't exist.
Wow.
Right? Lost his license because he was asked 3 or 4 times to fix it. So when you get stuff, you still have to go and check, unless it's this generic sort of thing.
Right.
We frequently do stories about us, and I practice every morning. Every morning I spend about an hour. And I enjoyed the challenge of trying to help it, right?
Yeah.
What to do. Sometimes we'll say, begin each sentence and put it in blue. So it comes back, quote, blue. No, the color blue.
Yeah, I mean, that's just prompting.
Yes.
And there are just so many AI platforms now that you could use for so many different
there are
things.
several thousand different types of AI.
Absolutely, there are. I mean, I use some regularly that have really shaved the time I have to spend on things. For example, there's one called Gamma. Gamma, I think it's gamma.ai. And what it does presentations for you. So you can do it slide by slide, or just say, do a presentation on this topic, and it spits out a beautiful presentation that you can put on a PDF, a PowerPoint presentation, whatever you want to
and
do.
I'm glad you brought it. There was a social media company that sent me a letter, and I thought I recognized the name of the company. This letter was so flattering. And I'm going, God, and I started buying into it. And they said, we'll do this for you and this for you. I said, this is how many shows we do a week. That's great, Michael. All right. And finally I went, okay. I go on Google, I look it up. They're bad guys. All right. But they had written this letter that almost got me. All right. And had I not suspected it, because
What were they trying to get you to do?
Pay them to help us market our videos.
Okay.
And then as I'm reading it, I'm going, yes, but that means they would have to get into our inner workings in order to do that. We don't do that,
Right.
But the uninitiated might have done that. And so and to your point, you have to be careful when you read these letters, whether it's for real or not, and you can go and you can check on it in a variety of places, including on Google or calling the phone number, whatever it happens to be. Okay, so that's with AI. This is the end of October. We have Halloween a couple of weeks.
Yep.
Right? And then it's a race to, afraid to say January 1st, but the next 2 months fly by.
Yep.
Tell us about the Greater Kendall Business Association. Who do you have coming on?
Well, we've got a great luncheon tomorrow. Hopefully you're aware that it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we have Dr. Janie Mendez, who is the head breast surgeon from the Miami Cancer Institute. Thanks to our gold trustee, West Kendall Baptist, set that up for us. And we're going to interview her, and we're going to have a question and answer session to
Wonderful.
find out everything that's happening with all the advancements with breast cancer.
And of course, there's the Miami Cancer Institute on the Baptist complex.
Yes.
Right. So in the West End, you have West Kendall.
Right.
Baptist,
Beautiful hospital.
160th Avenue.
You ever been in the lobby of that place?
I know, it's like a 5-star hotel.
Yeah.
So that's out there. Then you have, of course, the Baptist Hospital. They have about 100 off-site locations,
Yep.
10 or 12 hospitals, huge medical complex, really significant healthcare and improving people's lives.
Absolutely.
Over there. And if people haven't been into just the lobby at Miami Cancer Institute, go over there.
Yeah.
Right? It's amazing.
Hopefully you don't have to go there.
They do have, I went a couple times with some friends who, at the end of your treatment, you get to ring this bell over there. It's sort of a significant event.
Right.
And where it keeps people concentrated on the more positive things. And it is like a resort when you pull up there.
Yeah.
So
It's beautiful.
Right, so that's it. You have the good doctor is going to be there. That's October.
That's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
That's tomorrow.
Right? And we happen to have some ads running on that. And Zoni is doing the show. Can you switch to you for a second so you can say hi to people? Let's see if we can do that. Oh, there he is. That's Ian Zoni up there. He's producing
There he
the
is.
show. He's going to be going to some chamber meetings pretty soon.
Oh, good.
And maybe even go with the camera. I'll see if I can get him convinced to go tomorrow.
There you go.
All right. He's going to go, I'm not ready to go yet. So Ian Zoni,
Yeah, he's ready.
He produces shows, been here for a while, and he lives in Homestead, comes up here every day. All right.
And takes his brother to football practice.
Yeah, there you go. Good memory. All right. And so we're real pleased with him. We also have Emily, who's a producer. She graduated from FIU a couple months ago. She has a show called Everything with Emily. She's very photogenic. And
now that you mention shows, I got to mention something, because this is something that happened to somebody I interviewed on GKBA Today. That's a regular show that we have here at Community News. He called me about a week after the interview and told me that because of that interview, he had phone calls from all over the world and actually converted some of these people to clients. So that's how powerful this medium is.
It took me a lot of money to place those phone calls. Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah. So, I mean, we ask members if they want to do this all the time. I think people are camera shy. This is just a conversation. You got to be crazy not to take advantage of this.
So some folks came in the other day, and they were thinking about doing this, and it was a couple. They're very nervous. And so they weren't here to do it. They were here to take a look around. I said, well, come on, let's sit down. I sat them down right here. The camera, nothing was on. And because I know in the mind and the body, it interprets it like it's real.
Right.
And so after 15 minutes is great.
That's it.
Right? And that's what it takes just to be able to like get through it. And I think I mentioned years ago, I had a fellow by the name of Aaron, who's now an attorney. It chased me around with that big camera. Come on, Michael, sit down. I go, no, tomorrow. Yeah. So, Michael, today's Friday. I'm not coming. I don't work on the weekends. Sit down. He's 20 years old, chasing me around. Finally, I go, okay. And what happens, I can tell you that I think the people that regularly do these things and take a chance and risk and spontaneous conversation are better human beings.
And I'll tell you, I've been doing this for a lot of years, and when it comes to video and being on camera, there's an evolution. And for example, I have a client, I'll give him a shameless plug here, Miami water heater. His name's Carlos Sanchez. It took me a year and a half to get him to do video. Now he'll come out in a superhero costume, and when it was talk for 30 seconds, a minute, he'll go on for 5 minutes. So it's an evolution, because the way it happens is at first you don't want to do it, then you do it, and then you say, I can do this better, and then you start to like it. So that's the evolution. I've seen it 100% of the time.
And we look at Grant, my brother, who's just, he's just always been.
Well, he's at another level.
So I think I mentioned one day he's doing a commercial on the side of a street, and he's doing it. And right in the middle of it, somebody he knows drives by, honks the horn. He just turned, hey, come on back, come on. And it's when we can feel free enough inside to be able to do things like that we just become better people, and to be able to share that with lots of folks. So again, Christmas is right around the corner. I continue to hear different kind of reports what the season is going to be like financially. Unfortunately, we got a whole bunch of stuff that's going on.
Right. Supposedly it's not going to be as good as last year. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. So, but we also know when things are down, which for a lot of people they are right now, that when it starts back up, it's going to jump up. Why? Because you can't get much lower than on furlough and not getting paid.
So here's a big misconception about this season, and I'm already starting to hear it, and it's mostly in the B2B space, is that people start thinking, businesses that sell to other businesses start thinking, well, this is the season, everybody's busy, everybody's kind of checked out, thinking of the holidays. Not true. This is my best part of the year. Because so many people are ignoring the opportunities, I take advantage of them, and everybody should do that. People are not shutting down. Give it that extra effort, and you'll see the business you do between now and the end of the year.
And I hear that during the summer, people are away. I go, they are going the expressway, all right?
Yeah.
And you don't think people come to town? All right?
Absolutely.
And when the youth fair comes to town, they say, oh, people are they're not going out to eat. They're buying the food from somewhere. The food, the wholesalers are bringing in. People are still going to Publix. People are still doing that. And if you're looking for an excuse, you can find it.
Absolutely.
So we know our salespeople, they try to find, time to take a nap. I go, listen, December 31st, all right? Real late, about 6 o'clock. All right, you got 24 hours. Other than that, you have to keep doing it, because if you have to start over from the get-go, come January 3rd, 4th, or 5th, you've lost a couple of weeks of momentum. So one of the things we do here, we already have things we're working on in February and March. So we have plenty of time there, and we have something to talk to people about. Say, listen, it's Christmas time. You can start your schedule, set that up, and here's how we're going to keep them a little bit longer. So we have Jeanette Nunez, President of FIU, is our speaker in a couple of weeks. She's very, very, very popular. It's going to be a full house.
That's next week.
Yeah, it is the 30th.
The 30th.
Right? And University Credit Union is our
Right.
sponsor. They had to negotiate and compete with a bunch of other financial institutions to be named the credit union on there, and they had to compete with big banks, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it was like I was so pleased, that they were able to do that. And then we also have the dean of the medical school that's going to be there, and then in December we have Sheriff Rosie. That's what we call her. I don't know her other name. Sorry. That budget's about $1 billion. It's the real deal.
Her budget?
Yeah. I mean, the county's budget's about 14, so it's
Right.
a significant part of that.
That's a big budget.
And my hat's off to Jim DiBernardo. You may have met Jim earlier. 37 years with the police department. He went to Alcatraz. There's an Alcatraz swim where they take you out 3/4 of a mile out, and you 700 swimmers, and then you swim one way. So somebody bet him, I'll bet you can't do it. And he raised $50,000. And I told him, when you get to 49,750, call me. So,
And he didn't get eaten by sharks, so.
sea lions, all right?
Oh, sea
they're,
lions,
they're
okay.
big out there.
Okay.
So somebody said, I'll give you 5,000 if you swim both ways. Guess what? He went back 3 weeks later and he did it. And they had a boat that accompanied him the whole
No,
way.
of course.
And so, anyway, my hat's off to him for making a huge difference. All that went to charity. So here we are. South Miami is booming. Right across the street's going to go a 100,000 square foot medical office.
I'm sure you're very upset about that.
I am, yes. And I'm thinking about it. Zoni, we'll be able to have a little coffee shop right across the street. We could hop on over there, and they're. God willing, I'll be alive, and there'll be enough parking so at our big parties we'll have a place. That's what I'm looking at. Plus the other stuff. I said my grandchildren, thank you. So we
There you go.
appreciate it. So, Carlos, always a pleasure. Thank you for
Same here.
being my friend.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Let's look at that camera over there. And Carlos and I subscribe to the Disney rule, which is when someone hugs you, don't stop until they do. Have
There
a
you
great
go.
day. Thanks. Bye now.